Mix your reality and turn it into unreality, where you can fight tactical battles in fantasy worlds, explore castles and cyberpunk cities, solve hundreds of hilarious puzzles and mazes, cultivate alien plant life, build a city in your own walls, or use portals to fight off waves of enemies. You can do all of this plus much more on your Quest 3, Quest 3S, or Quest Pro. Welcome to GameList Plus. I'm Josh, and here are 10 must-play Quest 3 mixed reality games. I've played tons of mixed reality games over the last few months to really hone down and bring you the best of the best for this list. Watch till the very end to see a couple of honorable mentions that didn't quite make the top 10. Very quickly, I just want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Meta. They actually have made me a full-on affiliate. I want to thank them for making it official and gifting me the phenomenal 512 gigabyte MetaQuest 3 headset to make this video, which obviously I love, as you can see from all my content. And even though I am doing this advertisement for Quest 3, these are 100% my real opinions on all these games. And if you buy the Quest 3 headset or the games through my affiliate links, you'll actually be helping GameList Plus directly. Let's get started. At number 10, Trombone Champ Unflattened. In Trombone Champ, you step into the shoes of a trombone player where you must match the notes using your hands to slide the trombone to adjust the tone in and out with a full audience watching you. In the mixed reality mode, they are all inside a theater right through a window in your home. The music comes flying into your space through that window that you must match to score as high as you can with known classics and absurd tunes. You're under the pressure to play live with a full audience ready to boo, cheer, or applaud you for your efforts. This game itself was quite beloved in its 2D form, and it's one of the first games that's coming to us from Flat 2 VR Studios. It's a great translation into VR and even better into mixed reality. There are 20 unique designs of horns to collect and an all-new campaign with lots of fresh challenges as well as leaderboards to compete with the world. If you are a fan of games like Beat Saber and are ready for a fun, interactive rhythm game, this is a crazy and fresh way to play music in mixed reality. Next up, at number 9, Living Room. Living Room is an awesome mixed reality sim game where you create islands with different climates and all kinds of creatures that you can plop down in their respective areas. Each biodiverse space has their own predators, prey, and foods to snack on. There's a great variety of little fluffy creatures that you can even pull into your own space to make your very own virtual pet. This is a super quirky, fun little sim farming game, well worth jumping into. As you play, you have your pet dig around in your space to pull more coins, paint, and special items to decorate your space, and create more islands to unlock more habitats, creatures, and decorations. There's a normal mode where you unlock and maintain healthy habitats and build up your collection, a challenge mode where you're tasked with solving puzzles, or a completely relaxed creativity mode that promises lots of cozy, sandbox-style creative fun. Living Room is definitely an easygoing and light game if you really want to keep things simple. Next up, at number 8, Squingle. Squingle is a fantastic motion maze mixed reality experience that you have to try to really understand. You can play using your controllers or your bare hands where you can guide little orbs of light through iridescent floating mazes floating in front of you in your space. It's an incredible blend of dexterity testing physical challenges along with mind-bending psychedelic visuals. I featured this game in a previous list earlier in 2024 when it was still in early access. Now the game is fully complete, polished, and is really an incredible experience in mixed reality. There are over 100 levels with a wide range of skill levels, and you can switch between room scale and mini scale for the experience. Beyond the base levels, you can race against your own ghost to beat your times and try to beat global leaderboards. Squingle is truly a brilliant, one-of-a-kind mixed reality experience that cannot be missed. If you are enjoying this video, this is the perfect time for you to hit that like button. It really does help my channel a lot. And don't forget to hit subscribe so you can see all the videos that I make in the future. Next on the list, at number 7, Snapstick. Snapstick is a puzzle game that really surprised me when I got my hands on it. It's a series of puzzles where you basically snap together various puzzle pieces to complete laser contraptions, Rube Goldberg-style rolling marble paths, shadow puzzles, 3D object puzzles, which are among over 60 original mechanics. Amongst all of these crazy and interesting puzzles, you're entertained by a strange, muscly-armed talking toilet with aviator sunglasses who tells terrible jokes. Not to mention there is a hysterical story about a dog who is not so lucky in love, whose story we see unfold slowly as we go puzzle to puzzle. This is one of those games that I really had no idea would be so much fun when I started it up, but it turned out to be one of the best puzzle games I've played in VR, much less mixed reality. There are literally over 500 puzzles that get progressively more difficult as you play. The game's developer told me that the hardest puzzles are actually after the final end credits roll, so guaranteed there's going to be quite a challenge there. I haven't gotten quite that far yet, but I will get there. The game just has that quality that makes you want to keep going back and try the next puzzle and see how the very light story will turn out. You could really tell the extreme hard work that was put into this game by the single developer. I really could not recommend Snapstick more. Just play it. Next up, at number 6, Witchblood. Witchblood is an awesome 3D, 2D Metroidvania-style side-scroller game that is brilliantly translated in mixed reality. As you explore the game, you find that each area is actually an intricate diorama. You can basically just place the diorama anywhere in your field of view within mixed reality, even though nothing in the game actually interacts with your physical space. There are hundreds of rooms to explore, 40 upgrades, and 4 different difficulty levels to play through. I beat the game in a little over 4 hours, but it could take 6 hours or more depending on how thorough you want to be. This game really is an awesome introduction to the Metroidvania style of gaming if you've never tried it before. And the thing that's really cool about it is that it's right there in your own space. It's like having a big 3D TV floating right in front of you that you can actually stand up and walk right up to and play from any angle. The gameplay is basic but engaging. As you progress through the game, you can collect all kinds of different spells and abilities that will help you throughout each section of this castle against the various bad guys that you'll face. I really wish the game was a bit longer, but it is such a fun experience that it is worth every penny that you spend. I highly recommend Witchblood. Next up at number 5, Augmented Empire. Augmented Empire is an awesome tactical story RPG set in a cyberpunk world that originally released in 2017 for the Samsung Gear VR, which I actually had, but I never even heard of this game. I'm glad I didn't because I got the chance to play it now, and it is clearly much better on Quest 3 in mixed reality. The gameplay style really does remind me a lot of XCOM in the way that you hide behind barriers and take down your enemies, or even the Mario and Rabbids tactical games on Nintendo Switch. You can play in full VR, but it is really a lot better in mixed reality. There are 6 playable characters who are brought to life by an awesome voice actor cast that really make you care about the story. Your dangerous mission takes you through 60 environments where you can develop your team to match up with the playstyle that you like the most, using augments to customize each character. Augmented Empire boasts up to 10 hours of gameplay over the course of 26 missions. But this game really just kind of came out of the blue for me. I had no idea it would be so good, and it comes in at a really low price considering the amount of awesome gameplay included. It's stylish, immersive, and well performed, and simply a ton of fun. If you enjoy tactical games like XCOM 2 and the Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battles and all those games, this is a no-brainer to play on the Quest 3. At number 4, Walltown Wonders. Walltown Wonders is a brilliant use of mixed reality that lets you build a town within the walls of your own place. You start with just a single building with the full interactivity of being able to hold the character right there in the palm of your hand. You can then move them around within your real space. It's such a cool feeling to hold the character right there in your hand. It really reminded me of that crossover of animated characters into reality like they did in Who Framed Roger Rabbit or Space Jam back in the day. Another thing that's really cool about this is that it's one of the first games I've played in mixed reality that uses occlusion, where you can actually see your hand in front of the in-game mixed reality objects. It's a newer technology that's being built into mixed reality games that really adds to the experience. Anyway, as you play Walltown Wonders, you slowly build up your little town by accomplishing goals, unlocking all sorts of fun minigames, and creating new opportunities to build more and more around you. This really is such an awesome experience that really takes mixed reality to a whole new level in a way that I have not experienced up to this point. There's no high pressure in this game, it's just kind of a relaxed, quirky, and incredibly entertaining experience. Walltown Wonders is charming, cozy, and addictive. I didn't intend to, but I played it for hours on my first try. I kept wanting to just add one more building to one more wall in my place. Although I must admit, I did start running out of spaces where I wanted to put things, because sometimes they start to get really high or really low. In any case, I highly recommend Walltown Wonders. Next, at number 3, Spatial Ops. Now, I am not a huge first-person shooter fan personally, but Spatial Ops is one of the most exciting and action-packed shooting experiences I've had in VR, or mixed reality for that matter. Most people talk about this game because of its multiplayer, which is awesome, but in Spatial Ops campaign mode, you stand within a 4-walled portal where you take on wave after wave of enemies that are gunning for you while ducking, dodging, and hiding behind barriers as you uncover the dark secrets behind their invasion. This game really just sucked me in and did not let go. It's not like a first-person shooter in the traditional sense at all. It actually is much more like an arcade game style called rail shooters, where you have the opportunity to duck and hide behind the barriers so you don't get hit by the enemies. When you're playing in multiplayer mode, it's more first-person shooter-ish, but it really, for the most part in campaign mode, is a rail shooter, which is a really fun arcade-style game. If you're old enough to remember playing the arcade game called Time Crisis, you'll know exactly the type of gameplay you're in for. The campaign mode is a ton of fun all by itself, but besides that, if you have friends who also have the game and you have a big enough space to play in, there's a fully interactive multiplayer mode where you can duck behind barriers, grab weapons, and duke it out with your friends with handguns, grenades, shields, shotguns, and automatic weapons. The Multiplayer mode lets you battle up to 7 friends in both competitive and team-based modes. This is one of the most ingenious uses of mixed reality from the same multiplayer game developers who created Demeo, which I talk about in another video, and is an amazing multiplayer game. This studio is tried and true in the VR space with multiplayer gaming. Spatial Ops is definitely a must play. Moving on to number 2, Triangle Strategy. Triangle Strategy is a turn-based tactical RPG that was released on the Nintendo Switch and on PC in 2022. It's from the incredible RPG makers Squaresoft. You might know them from creating all of the legendary Final Fantasy games, the Xenogears games, the classic Chrono Trigger, the Secret of Mana games, and even the Dragon Quest games once they merged with Enix to become Square Enix. Needless to say, the creators of this game knew exactly what they were doing when it comes to storytelling and RPG gameplay. The perfect example of a similar game is Final Fantasy Tactics back in the 90s. Triangle Strategy is like a love letter to that classic game that I loved so very much back then. It's definitely a story-heavy game, so be ready to just kick back and watch on what equates to a massive big screen TV in front of you. Along with that comes very engaging RPG gameplay spanning over 20 battles that tell the 30-some-odd hour main storyline. The fully rendered 3D sets plopped right down in the center of your living room give this a magical feel that is unlike anything else in mixed reality. I played this a little bit on Nintendo Switch in demo form a couple years ago and intended to play the whole game, but just got busy with other things. Playing it with the intricate landscapes filling up your real-life space gives it a scope that just really can't be matched on a handheld device or a monitor. This game really feels at home in mixed reality. When I saw that this was being released on the Quest 3, I jumped at the opportunity to dive into this beautifully executed 3D, 2D, pixelated yet modern feeling mixed reality adventure. It's really hard to describe how cool it feels to play this game, especially being a Final Fantasy Tactics fan and just loving Squaresoft games from all these years. The explorational moments are very important too, where you need to actually talk to everyone so you can get as much information as possible to try to sway the story in the direction that you want it to go. I also just want to note that the game is set to very easy as a default, so if you want a really solid challenge, I definitely recommend switching it to normal or even harder modes if you're an experienced gamer. All around, Triangle Strategy is an absolute joy to play on the Quest 3 and is worth every penny. And finally, at number 1, Starship Home. Starship Home is unlike any other mixed reality experience on MetaQuest. You start out creatively by building your ship right there in your living room or wherever you're playing, by placing the different elements of your ship throughout the room. You have your main control panel, a bunch of windows, a storage hatch, a terrarium for your fertilizer creatures, your trusty watering can, along with some other technology that you'll use along the way. Soon after setting up, you'll be exploring various worlds to find lost plants. Then you play awesome and incredibly inventive minigames by jumping into the dreams of these bizarre singing alien plants. I know, it's all very bizarre, but it's great. This is a very psychedelic sort of experience that takes the reality that you have and layers all kinds of color and vibrance onto it, making it truly an unreal mix of reality and fantasy. This is by far the most brilliant use of mixed reality that I've seen so far in a very complete package. It truly blends the space that you're in with this fantasy sci-fi experience. It's definitely a very light-hearted game that is largely about tending to plants and making sure that they are fertilized and watered, but along the way you have a blast doing all the side activities that get you to the end. Starship Home is truly a unique and brilliant mixed reality experience that cannot be missed. It truly sets a new standard for the quality of mixed reality that we should expect from the technology that's available today. That's it for the top 10, but I also want to mention Space Folk City. Space Folk City is an awesome little world creation game where you take asteroids that come shooting through space into your area and break them apart to create scrap. You then use the scrap and design your own little floating town in space to rescue more and more little creatures to live there in this bizarre and funky little game. You literally design the houses with the taste of these little unique and quirky characters in mind, each with their own abilities that you'll utilize to ensure their survival. There are 8 scenarios, a sandbox mode, and seasonally themed levels. It's just a lot of light and cozy fun for some sim-loving gamers. And it is currently offered as a part of MetaQuest Plus, so if you subscribe to that, you can play the game right along with it. I also recommend Newton's Room. Newton's Room is a super cool and absolutely free app where you learn about the laws of physics in the most straightforward way possible by shooting little balls through the open space of your own living room. You go lesson by lesson learning about the different aspects of motion, all the way to the point of using bumpers and calculating the exact angles and speed to reach the goals for each level. This one came as a total surprise to me. I was thinking it was just going to be a basic tech demo, but as it turns out, it's a very well executed, very fun mixed reality game where you can bounce the balls right off the walls of your own place to create unique solutions to each and every puzzle. Very cool. So there you have it, 10 must-play Quest 3 mixed reality games, as well as a couple bonuses. This is my second mixed reality gaming list this year, and I have to say, in just a few months, the amount of games that have popped up that are so good show how much mixed reality is here to stay. Although we are no longer at the very beginning of mixed reality gaming, it's still very early in its life. I already know there are going to be tons of great advancements in the near future. But you know, that's just what I think. What do you think? Which of these mixed reality games have you tried yourself? What MR game did I not include in this list that you think deserves to be on it? What kind of VR gaming list would you like to see me do next? Let's talk about it in the comments below. While you're here, why don't you check out the first list of mixed reality games that I released just a few months ago before this one right here. That is it for today's video though. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time on GameList Plus.
Don't worry, I got my friendship bracelets ready. I'll see you soon, okay? I'm gonna go make a friend. Wish me luck.